Hey, hey, hey.
Hey, hey, hey. We are back.
Long time no see. It's
Yes,
technically, well, at least we saw each other not that long ago, but
yes. We had a run in at NDC
also
Oslo. Yeah,
it was nice. It was very
it was. It was
well.
indeed.
I uh
Mm.
I liked to have like a bit more than a few hours of sleep. That was really, good coming back, but it was amazing.
Yeah, yeah. It was really good fun. But I feel like there's something
Yeah,
overlay.
sorry. I there's 2 months or 2.5 months after our last stream, there's a new feature which is called show comments on stage automatically.
Ah, okay. All right.
So we don't have
Cool.
to click them, so we see them more actively.
Yeah, yeah.
But
So
let's try this out.
if anybody shows up, don't yeah, don't say naughty things in the chat. It will go live to all the places. Mm.
Well, if this does not jinx some things, like okay, how are you
Sure.
doing?
I'm doing
Sorry,
good.
wait.
The stress of having to prepare a new session, getting that over with at NDC Oslo, that was great. Now it's just back to working on projects for customers and finally having time to fit into the schedule, hanging out with you. So you are
Yeah,
hiding yourself completely almost behind the microphone. So maybe move the
that
microphone
is
like,
on purpose. Wait,
yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. Well, there you go. Want to see the whole beautiful face there. Hey, Peter Norris, it's been a
hello,
while. I remember back when I actually streamed regularly. Well, that was hard to say.
regularly,
Yeah.
regularly.
What he said on Twitch, Peter would come and hang out quite often on my streams. But obviously, you can't expect people to be ready to come whenever you stream when you only do it every second month or so.
Well, yeah, exactly.
I think there's a good chance, Stephen, that we might be able to do it a bit more.
Oh,
Well, I don't want to promise anything.
but we should do the opposite. I feel every time we did this, we did not, we didn't come, we
Yeah.
didn't show up afterwards. So
I don't have any pressing deadlines at work right now, and there's no upcoming events before the summer break really hits in middle of July. So there should be a good chance that we can actually be able to stream a few times for the next month or so. But let's see.
I
I
like
might be over promising, under delivering. Anyway, the agenda today, good folks, joining us will be for us to catch up on the last 2 months of Stephen being a good open source maintainer of bUnit and seeing what's going on with bUnit and maybe potentially having a plan built out by the end of the stream for what we need to do to get to a V2 of bUnit that we can then work on to make .NET 10 compatible. I think we might have a PR tool that is at least doing the initial work of supporting it, just adding it as a target so that, yeah,
yes,
I
yeah.
think that will be, yeah. So
Let me share the screen, and
you will have to share, yeah.
I will also apologize directly from the get go because I know that I will screw it up. So here, I press share. Ah, no, perfect. Okay. So, I'm not sure where we left off. That is my biggest issue right now, that I cannot tell for the love of God, what did we discuss like 2.5 months ago. So I would just, let's
We,
try and
issues, pull requests, discussions, whatever we have there, let's go through them, right? And see what we end up with. I kind of wanna. Oh no, sorry.
oh,
That's no.
ooh,
God
oh,
damn it.
oh, oh.
Yeah, I was just more thinking if we can get more vertical
Ah,
space.
no, wait, that was my issue. The reason is, so, I came down to having an ultra wide screen, and now I'm completely over myself to, do it correct.
Hmm.
That said, like we tried that before for a few seconds, and there wait, I used to share the window and that worked. Let me see it. Does it work
Hmm.
better if we use now this guy? Oh, look at this.
Sure. Yeah.
Is that is almost good.
Let's go with that. All right.
Let's roll. Okay, I would start bottom top, and well, this one here is literally making .NET 10 Yes, exactly. There was .NET 10. Basically, there's new stuff in IJS runtime and IJS object reference, where Christopher also wrote they are trying to use interface implementations. So
Mhm.
might come around doing anything here for the .NET Preview 5, which should land, I guess, next week or so. Yeah, we will see.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe let's yeah. So that I think new features, if they can implement those implicitly through existing interface methods in IJS runtime, so they just use those, and then we don't need to do anything, as far as I can tell. It might
Exactly.
be worthwhile for us to do it because we have a specially built or purposely built mock our fake JS
Yeah,
runtime in bUnit or bUnit JS runtime. I can't remember what we call it, and that might benefit from having, you know, explicit support for the new methods if it makes it
yeah,
easier for people to configure the behavior of that mod. But yeah, I think it's fine. I think let's leave it for now, and see what the next version of the previews have in store for us.
exactly. And just for the viewers right now, if this is too small, let me just know. I can, zoom in further. Maybe this is
Yep.
better. That might be
Actually,
better, huh?
before we go on, let me just jump into the YouTube's feed and see if we sound.
If we are level.
Yeah.
Good that we totally not talked about that before and forgot after 5 minutes of stream. But then I'm thinking there's obviously this one. Is there something closed? April 4th depends on pre-release.
I so if you I will just rewind a bit because I was trying to listen to this to the video feedback playback, but you were talking as well live, so I got both
Brilliant.
signals. Yeah. So okay. Be quiet. I think you are a bit louder than me, so let me see if I can adjust my volume up.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can also,
The mic volume, I'm gonna set it at one. Oh no, it didn't want me to do that. Here we go. I guess maybe. Okay. Yeah. So Peter, if we sound about at the same level, let us know. If we are completely off and you have to, change the volume up and down on your side to listen to us, then let us know.
Yeah, exactly. I guess this one I'm not sure if we talked about that bUnit Web depends on the pre-release version on Angle Sharp, CSS. So Florian, well, he pushes them out as a pre-release version, like beta and whatnot. But the
Yep.
beta version means just it's not feature. So it is stable, but it's not necessarily feature complete. So according to the specification of HTML, CSS, and whatnot, that's why we have like beta versions. But I'm not sure if we talked about that. But yeah, there's nothing we want to really do here because that's maybe a lot of effort. And then again, the versions before marked with 0 point something. I'm not sure how well this is perceived in a corporate environment. So I feel like there's not much we can really do here.
No,
Or we should.
I would suggest people go and throw some sponsor money at Florian or try to help out getting the English SPSS. There is fixed list of things that he wants to fix before he want to move it to 1.0. But even the beta or alpha bits that are out there now are stable. It's just not feature complete, and that's why he's not moving it to 1.0. I would probably disagree with that approach, but that's, it's his project. So, because that's dual meaning when you see a beta version, right?
Yeah.
And it means this isn't tested, this isn't working, all the things that are implemented isn't working correct. I would be fine having a version of Angular CSS that is not feature complete from an HTML5 or CSS3 specification point of view. That is okay with me as long as the features that are there works. but he decided differently, and that's fair. So my best suggestion for people that are running into this issue is to go and see if they can help him out get towards the goal. We can't really we want to we can't get we need to be on the later version of Angle Sharp, and thus we also need to use the alpha versions of Angle Sharp CSS. There's unfortunately no way around it.
Yeah. Then we have this one where I'm not really sure what's the problem. Something with the fake authorization service. So without having something reproducible and the real like error code and whatnot, it is kind of hard to get an idea what's going on.
Oh yeah, and I think honestly, if the person doesn't respond soon, we can just say we're gonna maybe copy it over, move it over to be
as a conversation, a discussion.
Conversation, discussion. Let's put it in discussions and say, hey, we're gonna move it over to discussions. If you still have an issue, or if you figured it out, otherwise, it's just like it's not what they have told us now doesn't include anything we can change on our side. So
yeah,
we could assign it to Copilot and say, hey, Copilot, answer, handle this for us, answers, No, but I seriously, like a lot of the questions that you've been answering the last few months have been, oh, people didn't read the docs, or the docs weren't written in a language that made sense to them, so they didn't understand what they were supposed to be doing. Like, I'm not blaming people for not, reading all the docs or not finding exactly the section that covers their problem. But, if Copilot can go and read the docs for them and say, hey, you probably this might be a solution based on, because we have fairly thorough documentation. So
yeah.
I think this is you're holding it wrong or misunderstanding how this is supposed to work and how you're supposed to be doing things kind of a situation. And, so yeah.
Yes, but let's wait a bit. It's fine if you can get caught up in work and whatnot. So a week is almost nothing. I would wait a few more days, and then we can still move it into.
But I would still just move it over to a discussion. Like, convert it to a discussion now and say, hey, this sounds like there's a button underneath your head. Convert to discussion. The last further down. There you go. Exactly that one. And put it into QA. You can choose the category. No, yeah, exactly. That was a slight delay on the screen up there. And just add a small comment in here saying, hey, this sounds like a QA thing. And if it turns out to be an issue or missing feature, we will create a new issue from that. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. I guess we can also transfer it back or so. I don't know. That leaves us with some other discussions that were open. I'm not sure if there was much going on. So there was. Let me go through here. I just take from top to bottom until I feel like we discussed this. There was the question whether or not the bUnit context itself is heavy, and so I answered the question. I am not sure if it's so. If someone asks me it's heavy, I cannot answer that, because it is your context and your specific environment that is important. I have no idea what heavy means for you. Is the bUnit context, does it hold a lot of state? No, but maybe you want to shoving a few nanoseconds off your build pipeline, then it may be a lot. Obviously, I hope you're not doing this, but in comparison to other stuff, no, we are not heavy.
I would say our recommendation is to not reuse or share test context or bUnit context between tests. Create a new one for each test. The first time you create a test context, there is some static shared things that are inside it, and also just inside the Blazor render itself, which we implicitly use through the test context. So the first initialization will take a bit longer, but that then, because the static fields will be reused across all instantiations. I would recommend just having a new bUnit test context for each test, right? That's also what we suggest in our docs.
Yes.
You kind of have there might be edge cases with your particular code in the test, like also with shared services and all things that you might not want to have shared and might lead to unstable tests, unpredictable tests. So yeah, no recommendation definitely to have a new instance every time. So
Yeah, exactly. That's also what I said. Like, it's probably what we want. Sometimes it's not desirable or feasible. That depends on your, circumstances. But I would say 90% of the cases just, with
yeah,
especially with XUnit, inherit from test context, or if we have a look a bit into the future, bUnit context is the way to go. Makes your life
yeah.
a bit easier. And it's more like what we do in the documentation. So probably it feels more like home if you do it the same way.
Yeah.
Yes. So this was this one. Then what is here? I cannot remember. So there's a lot of stuff with what is invoked. So there's a test or a component where you can see like there's something invoked inside the test which has a lot of pitfalls. Because you're not necessarily awaiting a render cycle. You're just saying, okay, until the renderer decides it's somewhat, doing something. It might be that you hand over
Yeah.
something. This happens asynchronously, and
Yeah.
you will not see the latest and greatest value. So
No, yeah. So what they want to do, if they insist on doing it that way, then they should use wait for and then have
exactly,
wait for assertion, which is also probably what you taught them. But
yeah,
then again,
exactly. So,
also the update is like, yeah. So you're completely right. I would also probably suggest that they just not actually call methods directly on the.
I mean, it's a
They,
mock they pass in that might be a valid situation. It's difficult to judge from example code because it's
but
so
they're
much
calling a
simplified.
method on the mock object, which
Yes,
is
which has then the event emitter for the parent component.
okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah. So it's so the property on update, that is okay, that's fair enough. That's sort of simulating that you're mocking a
Yeah,
child component and and now it's an event callback or something like that on update. Then you are triggering that to simulate that the child component that's probably fair enough to do that. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
So,
But
but yeah,
anyway, so normally what you want, so this is because I can only overgeneralize here. That doesn't necessarily be true for your specific situation. But we have a invoke async, so whatever you do in here is executed in the context of the Blazor renderer. That is more often than not safer than directly invoking something and awaiting. But anyway, you need to use wait for depending on your event callback code.
yeah. If the test is working without having the cut invoke async that you show in your example
Yeah, that
there,
probably is fine.
then it's probably fine. But you definitely need to have the wait for element or
Yeah,
whatever you are looking for, because the task you are waiting, as you said, is for the event handler to complete, but it doesn't wait for the render cycle to complete. That is running asynchronously.
yeah,
So yeah, so you will have inconsistent results if you don't have use wait for in your assertion in the last line.
exactly. So let's see. Unfortunately, I completely forgot about that. It was 3 weeks
So
ago, and I answered at the beginning of the
I
week.
guess what you can do is, since we had a good discussion about it now, we can just add a link to the live stream on the issue and say, hey, if you want, two talking heads talking about it and explaining, adding more context, then
That's
yeah,
good.
you
Yeah.
can watch from this timestamp. I guess it's what are we in 15 minutes or so.
I really hope I don't forget this. So I will just edit this message afterwards.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. I think that is no wait. We have what is here.
That bUnit code coverage analyzers is also not new. It might be new
Yes.
too.
So there was just something about oh god. This is long. What is this here? Oh yeah, 3 weeks ago. Yeah, it's about code coverage and that the Blazor. So if you have code coverage tool, which then says like, okay, this line is covered or not, and it didn't really work out. I can remember I did this I mean, now it's probably years ago, and I'm pretty certain it worked at the time. So I'm not sure what's going on, to be honest. Then there was also about something that they want to use Sonar source, and I know that the guys from Sonar.
Yeah. So
yeah,
without reading through all the content there, on a general level, bUnit just runs code. It exercises the code, whatever component you have, and if it's a Blazor component, so I assume people don't want code coverage of that test code. They want code coverage of the production code,
of
right?
the
Of the
Blazor Razor component.
Yeah, exactly. The component that will go into production, not the test code, even if you write your test in a component, which you can, right, or in a Razor file. So bUnit is just running C# and it's just running. And if you use bUnit to, trigger things that happen in your component, if that component, and that's how Blazor works, like it's transpiled into C# by a source generator. So the problem might be, and I have looked before Blazor changed the compiler to be a source generator based one. It would actually be a MS build step that would spit out also generated C# files in some directory, but they might be more discoverable to code coverage than otherwise. So yeah, I see this might be a problem that Sonar Cloud or other code coverage tools are not able to see the generated source files that is produced when the Blazor compiler, which is a source generator.
So I know that SonarCube does support that.
Okay.
I beta tested that for SonarCube, but I cannot generalize that.
No.
That the coverage tools,
Yeah.
they work. So, but then
I'm
again,
curious because sometimes you also have configuration in your code coverage tool saying, hey, if this file has the code generate had a generator or like you can have attributes that if you're generating code, for example, you typically put those attributes on the code because you want to signal that this is generated code, it's not user code, so it shouldn't be included in unit testing or code coverage, right? It shouldn't. But in this particular case, we are transpiling code. We're not generating code. We're converting Razor markup, which is user build, user created, over to C# code that is sitting. So I'm wondering do you know if the generated code has that attribute like that you typically have on generated code from the Blazor compiler?
Is there an attribute? I
Yeah,
thought
there
it was
is
just
an
a
attribute.
code comment.
No, yeah, you can also have comments, but typically there is a compiler generated attribute or code
True,
generated code. So
yeah.
if and you will typically have for code coverage tools, they will explicitly not count a code that has that attribute.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense. But in this particular case, it actually doesn't make sense.
Well, yes and no. I mean, yes, but oftentimes you want to even test the generated code. So, example on top of my head, if you have something like a Mapperly, which is the auto mapper using source code generators, you can also configure a bit of stuff, and basically you want to be sure that that stuff is working and up and running. It doesn't necessarily, so you want to assert that, but yeah, maybe you don't want to know necessarily the line is hit because it's
Yes and no, because I would test. Well, I can see that it's not a absolute. It doesn't always make sense, but I think in many cases you want code coverage up to the point where you call the generated code. Now, if that generated code is doing something wrong, right, then that's up to the generated code of the persons responsible for testing the generated, like for testing the code generator itself to fix that. But it's a bit similar, like I would view generated code, at least you mentioned Mapperly, but also like strongly typed ID and things like that. I view that in the same way that I view external NuGet packages I pulled in, right? There's no real difference. It's somebody else who built this code for me. And I'm using that, like, so I don't need code coverage of my ASP.NET Core DLL, right? Because it's Microsoft code. So in a sense, I have it a bit the same with and that's also code that you configure, right, to do things like behave in a different way. So, but I'm not, it's not a hard rule for me, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I guess I would just continue as a point. I guess the resolution is like we cannot do much here because
Oh,
it's not bUnit transpiling code. It's Blazor's just how it works.
yeah, exactly.
And
that's the conclusion, right?
obviously, there's something like if it's a low hanging fruit for us to help out, we would do it. But I don't see there's much we can do without investing years of our time into that.
No, it's not. No, it's really not on us. Like we are running the code.
Yeah.
If your code coverage tool can't pick up on source generated code, or it doesn't pick up on it because Microsoft is marking that code as, hey, this is not user code, which it actually is. It's an issue really that should be in the Blazor repository or in the .NET or ASP.NET Core repository, saying, hey, we don't get code coverage from our Blazor components. It's not about bUnit. So yeah.
Okay, the next one. There was a very, very simple one. Basically, oh god, I maybe should have formatted that better. There is like this iWeb host environment, which you can see here. It's just not registered. And the obvious solution is either you create a fake, which would be my preferred way of doing it, or you just create a mock, whatever you prefer, that is up to you. Register that as a service in the service container, because we don't magically pick up the service container from your program CS. You basically find stuff again.
But is that...
Which is also desirable, to be honest.
Sure. I have originally, I think, when I started bUnit, I did have sort of a plan that all first-party things that are automatically registered in when you do a file new Blazor project, we would also have, a nice behavior for that in bUnit. So if the iWeb host environment is always there in newer .NET 9, 8, whatever versions of Blazor, when you're building Blazor, we can include a fake that does nothing, or we can, which we've done in some instances, we include a fake that basically when you call any methods on it, it will it will throw an exception saying, hey, you need to register your own that has the behavior that you want, right? So we basically have the runtime or the compiler tell the user what to do so they don't come and create an issue for us, right? Or a question. So that they basically provide guidance just by running a test that uses that.
True.
If there are good defaults that we can have in a fake web host environment that will sort people out in 99 or 90% of the cases, we could do that, or preferably 100% of the cases, because otherwise I would just have like a stop that just throws an exception whenever somebody tries to actually use it in that test and say, hey, you need to, here's a detailed exception message with instructions of what to do, right?
I mean, the good thing is, like, I think this is not
easy,
a new type. iWeb host environment is something from .NET 6 onwards, I assume, or even earlier. I'm not sure. But given that there's not much, that's the first occurrence we had in the last 4 or 5 years since I'm on board in our issues, like GitHub issues or discussions. Tells me at least, it's not so of a widespread problem. But of course, we shall do something. Maybe I can just put it as a resolution here that, like,
so
investigate whether or not.
Maybe we just wait. I think most people probably also just have forgotten that exception and saying, hey, it complains that there's no service registered iWeb host environment, which I guess is what the question was, like, hey, why am I getting that exception?
Yeah.
And then most people have already know that, okay, then I need to go and register something here that looks like that.
Yes,
And
it's basically like your services. If you don't register a service in the test that you want to try to inject it into your component, you would get the same error.
I think it's fine to leave it for now. If it becomes a regular thing where people are asking, can you just provide a fake for us or something like a generalized stop that you have, fine. But let's leave it at that for now.
Then to the next one, there is, and that is a bit unfortunate because we try to be a bit smarter than probably we should have, but so the issue here was if folks right remember, like 2 years ago, there was some CVEs in system text JSON. The issue is that a lot of things, like as a peer dependency, are using system text JSON. So
Sure.
we thought, okay, we want to help out our users against the guidelines of Microsoft, and we said like, okay, we just directly reference system text JSON always in the newest version to where the CVE is fixed.
Well, we actually needed ourselves bUnit is using system text JSON in various places. So we don't just have the reference to it just to have it. I think we actually
Only have it as a peer dependency.
I don't think so, but if we have, we should remove it. I don't want to have a dependency we're not using. Like we want as few dependencies on other packages as possible. So if that's the case, we should just remove it. I wasn't aware. So the reason why we just said, hey, if we can use the same package version for a bunch of different target frameworks in bUnit, we decided just to do that. But actually, there is a problem with that, and that's probably what I think it's called Jonas is pointing out, is that .NET 9 and packages will actually, if you have .NET 8, you're sticking with .NET 8 as your target framework, you will have support longer for .NET, the .NET 8 version of System Text JSON than you have with .NET 9 version, because it runs out before .NET 8, because it's a short-term versus long-term release. So I think a good thing we need to double check in both the version 2 and version 1 branches, that if you have packages that are being used for the target framework of .NET 8, they need to be .NET 8 versions of those packages from Microsoft. So because
we do this, I think.
but apparently not for this one, because he says that we use .NET. So we want to make sure that we check that. So that I think that's a quick fix for us to fix. Yeah. And it's a bit more work, but it's something we need to fix, because there is organizations where they must have support for all the packages they're using. And
good. That's all for the discussions. I would head over to the pull requests.
Sure, let's do that.
So basically, there are a few. I would like to start with, this is so unimportant. There's bring the latest V1 into V2. That's just that.
They probably need to do that manually anyway.
Yeah, I did this manually.
Okay, so
it was way easier. It was just way easier to merge instead of
let's close that then, I guess.
Okay. Let's do this.
Or do you want to keep it around to remember to do it manually?
I would just merge it. If that's
okay, yeah, sure. If it works,
Well, it's green,
So green is good.
The only thing we have to check, unreleased, that is fine. The important bits is that we took some stuffs over, like this one. There was an issue we had if you have relative units in Angle Sharp. So if you want to say like, hey, we can't render that. It's just an exception. It's not great.
Yeah, you just set some default values.
I was just removing unused code at this point in time. There was just unused code. And what is important, I took over the tests. So these were tests we did fix on V1, but they were not part of V2. And as you see, they are all green.
It's just good. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's merge it then.
Yes, exactly. Okay. I will create that merge commit. I will do this, and I press it. That is now the 4i principle. You give me the okay.
This is my go ahead, and
everyone on stream, you saw that. If anything breaks, that's it's still my fault. Okay. Then we have
agree to it.
We have the .NET 10, what we discussed a bit earlier. This is really just the bare bone thing to make it compilable. So the only thing I really did is add, .NET 10 as support everywhere in our GitHub runners. I did update some packages because, we have to do this. Then we have to add those. Unfortunately, you have to add for preview versions, you have to add them explicitly. That's a bit unfortunate, but it is how it is.
Exactly.
I added .NET 10 everywhere where we had like .NET 8 and 9. So this is straightforward. And here's the thing which Christopher reported earlier. This stuff may change with the preview 5. For now, I just throw hard exceptions. We
Yeah.
can take this out later.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
this is really not to make, the feature complete. It's just to make it compilable.
Yeah.
And the
Okay. I
same
see a
here.
whole bunch of methods there, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so I'm really glad if they use default implementations of the interfaces.
Yeah.
The only thing we have to check, I guess, we offer not the interface to the user. We offer the implementation as.
Yeah, but
Oh, I'm
that would
not
still
sure.
that would still work because the user in the user code in the bUnit or Blazor test
True,
code
that would be
will
yes.
be referencing the interface, right? And then
That's
that
true.
would have the
True.
default implementation.
Yes.
So actually, that's like unless there's good reason for them not to do that, I would say that like the whole point of having default implemented interfaces, the whole feature in C# was to allow new
Exactly
features to
that.
be added to existing interfaces without requiring all implementers of that interface to update themselves. So that would be nice. I think
So,
it looks good. Let's merge it in.
yeah. Confirm bypass.
Yeah.
Amazing. So then one more in the V2 branch. Oh, yeah. Thank you for wobbling us around. That's very good.
Yeah.
So
Whoop,
the
cool.
last time where we left off, I checked, is we were talking about this guy. I know it's very small right now. Let me.
There we go. Oh, here's where I want us. Oh no, I don't want us here. I want us. The visualize. Sorry, folks, but the visualization isn't good in StreamYard where you end up with. So I have to
It's
remember.
true.
I think I can. Oh, I can actually just if I just hover a bit and wait, it'll tell me where it is. Yeah.
Okay. So I see also. Wait, we have a few comments here. Oh, good afternoon. Hello, Mr. Magoo. There's a. Thank you for sharing. Of course, you're welcome. You turned it on and off again.
Yeah. It wasn't like it was sitting over
Directly
overlaid.
on top of us.
Yeah.
Okay. So exactly, this is where we left off, because still we want to push out V2 somewhen close future, but
Yeah.
that's up to your interpretation what that means. And
it's been a
dear viewer,
it's been planned for a while. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So what I did here is we need migrations. Right now, our whole migration stuff is migration.md.
Mhm.
Obviously, we cannot just throw that against the user. That's just absolutely not working. So first, this is an unrelated change. We don't do the docs as we did before, and we have now a tasks.json in the VS Code folder. I know that's VS Code specific. Maybe at some point I bring them back, but those anyway, they don't work anymore. So we are using docfx. We are not using the .NET Surf tool and whatnot. So they were obsolete.
Yeah, good.
Maybe we bring them back, maybe not. Let's see. And then
It's fine. Actually,
yeah.
you may want to go and update the .NET Tools JSON file as well because it references surfdoc or the .NET
Yeah, the .NET Surf tool.
local. Yeah. So
yeah, that is a good point.
We can do that
if
afterwards.
we still really do this. And
we
then
probably don't need it now.
So here at the index, we had like some stuff that is fixed on the README on the root level. We don't have core and web packages anymore, so I just aligned the index MD. That's all I did here.
Mm-hmm.
No, thank you for moving me around. It's just I should do this. So then we have basically here. I just started a very, very bare bones how to migrate stuff.
Yeah, that's really good.
Because we have to have that. There's no way around. And
maybe we even title it migrate from 1 to 2, just because that's going to be what people will be looking for. Hey, I have V1 stuff. So simply put it. Oh, no, you have migrations. Oh, never mind. I see. We already have the menu there. Yeah. The menu option
exactly.
is just below. Yeah.
Exactly. And then basically I started. So there's the index just to explain stuff. If we go from 2 to 3, this will be here and here. And the important bit that's also written here is that the link you can see here is always provided. So obviously for quite a while, we want to support somewhat both, whereas V1 will only get critical patches if we like the system text JSON stuff. That might be something we have to do.
Yeah,
but we don't want to, for example, bring .NET 10 full support to V1. That's just we don't want to necessarily do
No,
this. That's why we're doing
I
V2.
guess for now, what we're doing is we
Oh.
support it as a target framework, but we might actually remove that again from V1 if we manage to get V2 done before the end of before the release of .NET 10. Now, I think maybe what might be missing would be if you go to, so the plan is once we are ready with V2, it's a final release, we will have bUnit.dev. When you go to that website, it will show V2 docs, not V1 docs, and you will have to go explicit to the v1.bunit.dev to get the V1 docs. But we probably need, I've seen that from second Bootstrap, where they have sort of a banner at top and say, hey, if you're looking for the older
we can do
version,
that,
go here. And also if you come to the V1 docs, you might have a banner saying, hey, this is not the latest version. You might want to look here if you are new to bUnit or you don't have existing stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. So I just obviously put it here because I think we will keep them around. So what our idea would be, we just make a snapshot of the current documentation, put it there as, the HTML files and whatnot, and serve them via the subdomain.
Yep.
And here's this weird, that's good that we go through the pull request. You can see here that white space. If you press, I guess, Option and white space on Mac, you have also, that's like this one here. It looks like, like a space.
A white space.
Yeah, it's a special Unicode character. I do not know why they do this.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay.
I know ChatGPT is starting using those special Unicode characters and putting them into text. So if people copy paste them, you can use that to detect that these are coming. This is generated text.
Nifty. I like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and then you can go through that stuff. I guess this is not necessarily an exhaustive list. I try to remember everything. I'm not sure if this is the case.
Fair enough. But I think we will read through that anyway. But if we merge this in now, will they change the website, or should this be like a working?
No, that will not change the website. Only if we merge anything to stable, and that would mean we have to make it to main first. Well,
yeah. So I think it's a good idea to have a migrations document that we continuously update when we make changes to.
We anyway have one. Let me go back.
That's the root level markdown, right?
Yeah, exactly. But first things first, I started doing this, and the problem is that you see this, I forgot that some of the stuffs here, like this one, is then revoked later on down here because we came up with a different approach. So this one should not be used by users. It's just a working document just for us two, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, we would probably need like the official. This is what we changed when we get to the final stage. So it's fine to have a working doc. Maybe it shouldn't be a markdown file in the repository. In that case, it should be an issue that we can go and edit, because otherwise people might expect it to be the truth. If they see
this one would be the truth. So
but the other one, we looked at before.
That's true. That's true. But maybe we could delete it.
Yeah. Let's see if people start complaining.
Shall we merge it? Is it fine?
Sure. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, if it doesn't have any impact on, or like if it doesn't expect people to start going to v1.bunit.dk or .dev, not .dk.
Maybe also.
Yeah.
You know what? This is, I don't care because it's documentation. So let's go. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. That was like .NET setup.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it might also just be If it breaks main, you will have to stay up all night fixing main. But
that is absolutely fair. That is absolutely.
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, so and then basically, this is the two things we somewhat left off. Thank you. Is those two guys? We have the API review. So this is where we, to some extent, we wanted to make V1 the docs v1.bunit.dev work. That was where we literally left off. But our, let's say, the bigger goal we tried 2 months ago is, hey, is the API ready so we can have a, let's call it like beta release, so that users really start using it without us changing all the time the stuffs under there,
Yeah. And I still want to do that. I still want to go through the full API service we have and look through the code. I also I've been thinking about this recently. Some of the more some of the code that we built to handle some of the race conditions that were, but I don't think that's needed because the the real reason for the race conditions were that we didn't stop rendering when people disposed test context. So that could have the test context throw an exception that happened after the test was actually finished and all the assertions had passed. So that was I think there's a whole bunch of extra code, extra work being done, copying safe protective copying of data from the render tree
Yeah.
after each render that is not really needed. But that was just something that we did to try to limit the amount of problems, and it did fix it to some extent, but yeah. So I think there's some cleaning up in the bUnit renderer too that needs to happen, but feature-wise, I think it's good to just go through all the APIs
Yeah.
and throw out more of the things that are not really used anymore by people,
Yeah.
and give ourselves some um, yeah. So I hope that is really my to do for bUnit the next month is to find when we sit down maybe next Friday, but also maybe in between just read through all the code and see maybe have some AI agent help us a bit and say, hey, what's going on here? Like so that would be so not adding features, just cleaning
Should,
up.
should directly request, hey, how's it going? Like, check for us.
Yeah,
I have no
no.
idea what's
Hope,
coming out.
hope,
I would say nothing useful, but
yeah.
Okay. Exactly. So this is our biggest to do before we want to make a whatever release means here. That could be
I
beta,
think
that
a
could be RC, that could be
preview release, right? Saying, and then we can start. We can have dot releases of version 2 where we add support for .NET 10 new features in
yeah,
.NET
exactly.
10
Exactly.
after that.
I like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And then that is the last one. I just updated it some time ago. Let me just check when I did this. Was this in April?
yeah. I don't think this is complete yet or sorted out, right? I don't think it's fixed as such. Right. I think you started working on it. You had some ideas. I had some feedback, but it.
Well, I think yes and no. And I guess this will be a lengthy discussion between us two. So I did fix some of the things like the set parameters and render, I guess. Set parameters and render. So I cannot search for it. But the overall, so we anyway had a bit of I wouldn't say like it's perpendicular our ideas, but they were not overlapping. And we
Yeah,
have to invest some time how to proceed. When I did this and I wrote something here, that's why it's good, because it's like 9 months ago almost. I wrote down a lot of the things I came or encountered during
mm,
the implementation of that feature, so this is basically my argumentation in favor of my current implementation, which goes down the route of implementing that from scratch, like this whole mapping of parameters to the component,
yeah,
or the route thingies to the parameters of a component.
yeah. Things are
And I
slowly coming
know,
back to me.
yeah, exactly. And I
Uh,
know we went through some stuff because obviously ASP.NET Core has to do that. So
yeah,
Blazor works somehow. And
uh,
the cool idea would be to reuse that.
and we can actually. So I do remember now. I think that was one of the things where we have something that kind of works, but doesn't do it exactly as it doesn't mimic the production behavior that people would be expecting. And I know that you did you made it you made something that's better than what we had before. What I remember when I had my experiment with HTMXer, my sort of let's use HTMX and Blazor together. I also ran into the same problem where you needed to basically pull out query parameters and body parameters that might be an HTTP post message or put or get
Mhm.
message and pass that into the component directly. And my solution there was to use reflection to actually use because that all the APIs that you have found, and I think you're referring some of them there, are internal. Uh,
Yes.
but the API service itself is quite stable because it's being used across both Blazor and Razor pages, and
ASP.NET.
it's been so. I wouldn't mind just having reflection wrapper, a reflection-based wrapper around that, so that we can reuse that for this particular scenario and just use those APIs, and then you get all the things for free that behaves exactly the same as production Blazor will do. But I think that is a feature I will want to add after we stabilize V2 and just add it then. So I think
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. I just wanted to bring up the discussion
yeah.
that it's still open. We were discussing this like
exactly, yeah.
way last year, and
It's been 7 months. It can wait a few more months, but
true.
So yeah, you did spend the work actually, spend the time understanding the issue and figuring out things. So that's excellent. Do we want to bump some of the packages? Just do that locally on your machine and just get some of the and maybe fix the thing that Jonas brought up with before, or do we have half an hour left, or you have to leave now?
Oh yeah, half an hour left.
Okay, so I think we can try to do that just to fix the.
I'm so stupid. I was sharing already. Like I have Writer open.
Yeah, you're not
figured,
sharing with
yeah,
Writer.
no, because oh Jesus, it does a lot of so I have to stop the screen for a second. Present share screen, and then here this guy. Okay, I hope. Oh, it's perfect. I hope it's big enough.
You might want to zoom. I would assume people on a mobile device might be having a bit of a challenge. But if you collapse
Wait.
the terminal thing down at the bottom,
Yeah.
so we could get more vertical space.
I try. You don't see the window here.
Okay.
So.
Yeah. So I guess directory build props. Oh no, directory was the packages props. I think that's where we need to do some work.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the problem, and we have to fix this. So we moved. So we have two options.
Well,
we could just argue like because it's V1, we could just take here the latest, the greatest version of 8.
Yes, I would just I would branch based on version numbers, right?
Okay, so you would really okay.
Yeah. But if you don't if we don't need system.json, we can just try removing it and build and run all our tests, and if it works without us referencing system.json.
So there are some. My laptop is really slow right now. So we have some occurrences here, as you can see.
Yeah. Oh, is it for serializing? Is it for serializing? When are we actually calling that?
For the state. JSON. Oh, JSON.
It must be. Oh yeah, there right. And a line 108. Yeah. Okay. So we actually use it. That's what I thought as well. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, we need to have a version specific to that matches the at least for the versions that are still in support, right? So if it's .NET 8 or less, 7, 6, 5 are no longer in support. So I think the 8, 9, and then 10 versions, we just need to have, unfortunately, have to branch on target framework.
So
you already have a branch just below for net standard and
yeah, exactly.
But I guess maybe just leave it at 805 and then have one. I think we have a net 9 section a little bit further down where you can just put in the name.
IDE is right now very slow. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Really? Oh god.
Well, no.
Oh god. That's really annoying. I do not know why.
Well, you're screen sharing, you're streaming, and
no, that's not the problem. Like it was working fine. I had to open the whole time. It started when I went from V2 to V1 branch. I know we changed a lot, but
so it's probably just running indexing in the background and trying to figure out all the things that's going on in the solution.
Which means that's fine. Let's update all the packages. That's why we do this. I don't want to do a right click because I feel like it did not really work well. It only works for non-target framework specific packages, unfortunately.
Yeah, there we go. I'm gonna put us over the file list instead. There is a .NET tool called .NET Outdated. It might actually be able to deal with, but again, I think most of the update all my things for me, it doesn't really handle the condition that we have in Item Group, so it'll just mess it up completely. So yeah, unfortunately, we have to
Yeah,
do that
exactly. I
one.
tried this with Rider and also VS. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if Visual Studio does that correctly.
Have you tried there's a .NET global tool called .NET Outdated that you can run. It might be able to do it, might be smarter.
Let's
But
try it.
sure. You can
Uh,
always undo or maybe stage the changes you have made that you know are right. So at least if it messes up, you can just undo what it did.
oh boy. Oh boy. I just want to show you the mess my PC is right now doing. It's not even. No, it's not that worse, but it's so laggy.
Yeah,
I do not know why.
it might be just Rider that's slow.
I'm inclined to restart the application.
Yeah. Well, we can just do like if you just have VS Code installed, you can just these are the changes we hopefully don't need to go in the debug, so it might be easier just to do that.
Let me exit that one. I have these. I have maybe. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, that's you.
Oh, thank you, thank you. Okay, I do have it open a folder. I will share in a second. God, because I feel like if I open VS Code now and everything, I for sure screw up. And I have a client project open. I can almost. I feel it. Okay.
You can start by opening up, not sharing screen before you're ready. You don't want to show. You shouldn't be sharing secret stuff, right?
So it's a bit small. I know. So let me zoom in. So that should be fine, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
So that is better. Oh yes, that is so much better. I cannot tell you. Okay, so you said there's a global tool called
.NET Outdated.
like that
I
or with a
think
dash?
I can't remember, but try with a dash. I'm pretty sure it's with a dash.
Okay, 3 times a try. Okay, let me Google that.
Yeah, I can also.
It is .NET Outdated. I'm at .NET Outdated.
.NET Outdated tool. .NET dash outdated dash tool.
Like that? What?
I believe so. Yeah.
No.
.NET dash outdated dash tool.
With a dash. Sorry.
Yeah.
I was wondering. My allergies.
Your allergies are.
They're saying what the heck? They say hi.
.NET tool install. I think you type. All right.
So
there you go. And now, if you stage your changes that you have made that you are happy with, just so that you can undo, then you just do. I think the command is .NET outdated, and then it will scan through and come up with a it will show what it wants to do.
Oh yeah, that looks good. There's not .NET 8. I'm not. That's there.
Yeah, 5, 6. So then
you know what? I will just give it a try.
Yeah, and you do -u or u.prompt if you wanted to. But let's just see what it does. It would be kind of neat if it happens to do. Yeah, it tries to build, but that also is it might be updating the package versioning, but not doing it in the right order. So that's it could also be when updating, for example, Sonar Cloud, Sonar Analyzer rules that sort of a sudden things are breaking. So
it does things. I like that. It does things.
Let's see what it does when it's done doing its thing.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you want to have that. I'm pretty certain that's not what we want.
Yeah, it should only.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah. Well, maybe it'll. Yeah, it just.
If one of them is right, I can just revert that hunk and do it manually. That's also
fine. I think all the .NET 9 stuff you can just keep, and the other ones you would have to revert.
Yeah, unfortunately, I did them manually.
Well, you if
no,
you
I missed those 3 guys. At least it picks it up. How good is that?
yeah.
I feel like, or I mean, this one here. Sorry, these guys that are not target framework specific, they should work as well.
I would think so, yeah.
Close and open it. Do we have more? No. Locking. It does the same packages over and over again. You see that?
It's because it's updating them in each project, I think. Or maybe it's just confused. I think, but I think no, because we have different versions of that package for different target frameworks. So yeah, the problem is it doesn't understand target frameworks.
Yeah. Oh, this one. Exactly, those ones are the good ones. At least, I assume now that there's yay. Yes, the target dependent ones we have to do. That's fine.
Yeah. So I can, while you do the thing in the browser, not the browser, what I'm saying here. I can search for the latest versions of various packages and you can type.
Oh,
So
guy.
it might
Yes,
make us
let's.
go a bit faster. If I head to
Yes.
nougat.org.
How to pair programming?
Yeah,
That's not
exactly.
the original idea, but
Mm. Well, you can start live share, so we can actually upgrade together if you want to. We can just start live share in VS Code.
Do I have that live share?
It's
No, yeah. No. So, who wants to have the link? Just share it publicly. And
you
look,
can
just look what happens, So, how do I do the live share thingy here? No. I never used that.
So I think you do a command that's like start live share session in VS.
Oh.
Not love share, but yeah.
Oh, there was live server. Sorry, I saw it on my other screen.
That's fine. But then you probably want to go to private chat so all our viewers don't connect to your thing. It'll add it to the
To the
clipboard.
Let's go. Who's ready? First takers? Where's the private chat? Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
Here. Have fun. Go nuts.
Yeah, okay.
I'm a bit inclined just to, look what happens, but as you can use probably my terminal, that's not a good idea. I'm not sure if you can use the terminal.
You have to give me write access. I can have read-only access. But yeah. I should be continue as anonymous. Oh, I failed to spell my name right, but here we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So
There you go.
now you have, I think there is a way for you to follow where I'm going and vice versa.
Yeah, I can basically. Containers.
But I think we might want to stop the whole attempt at upgrading. It's just going in circles. Yeah.
Done.
Okay. So let's see packages props.
Before you do something, shouldn't I revert the parts like those guys here?
Yeah.
We don't want this. We don't want this. We don't want this. That's not 5, not 5, not 6, not 7, not 8, and the rest shall be correct. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's stage this as well because it was correct until now. And yeah, go, feel free to. So that is the cool thing in Rider, that you see the latest and greatest version as a IntelliSense. Unfortunately, it doesn't work here. Or not that I'm aware of. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. So you see my stuff, or you can edit because
you should be able to see. I'm right here with you, so you're up at the very top of the project. So I can say, "Hey there." Yep. So if we don't, so we want to go. Do you want to start now by just doing a .NET build and see if everything is building with what we have now. So and we can add.
Ooh. Ooh. Okay, logging abstraction. Which target framework is this right now? Oh God, web query.
Should we start by going completely reverting all the changes you've made back
I
to?
feel like yes, I would revert everything now.
Yeah. We should start by with having everything built and be happy with us.
Yeah, I mean, assuming that should work now, huh? Like given that is, yeah, that looks better.
It should be working. Yeah. All right, everything's building. Maybe we just actually do a .NET test every time.
Sure.
All right. So the first thing I guess I want to upgrade is the sonar.
Let me do the 9.1s because yeah.
I think let's
I'm
start
still
with
following you. Damn it.
Yeah, no, that's fine. But let's start with the analyzers. Microsoft Code and analysis packages. Actually, I think these guys are actually built in now. If you are on .NET 5 or later.
Sorry, joined late. Do you want to try out VS Code instead of Writer? No, not really. I had a problem with Writer.
It was
that
just
was
running
super laggy,
yeah.
and I do not know why. Oh, it was at least building, and then we decided to pair program, and that is easier with VS Code. Let's say it like that, because Writer has its own solution for that.
Interesting.
So
this version has just been released an hour ago. We can just try adding
cutting edge.
Cutting edge.
What
It
is
looks
the
like
version
sort of
number?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be a preview version, but it's not marked as a preview version.
Because for semantic versioning,
yeah, it's but the last one is 4.14.0, which is 22 days ago. But then there's a 5 version.
The polyfill I updated, just that you know.
Okay, you have updated that.
Yeah, so I guess we can split the work. Like, you can do shared or I can do shared, and
well, so no, but so if we've updated if you save the files now, I'm not sure saving works for me.
I did.
And then run .NET test.
You want to run every time .NET test?
Well, let's just start, because analyzers are the ones I would expect maybe to have new things that it gives.
Build.
Yeah, but you want to maybe build with. We shouldn't get any warnings either, and we have build in release mode. Yeah, so okay, actually there were some.
No, that's because I aborted.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Well, maybe there were some. I have no idea, but I also
We didn't get to them. Yeah.
test.
Oh, it looks good, I guess. So far, yeah. Well, let's see. Why do we have autofac in our code?
Autofac. That is a very interesting.
That's a dependency injection thing.
Customer service provider.
It's for samples. Oh, it's an example.
Yeah, we moved all the stuffs together in one directory build props because it was so headache to split this into multiple things.
Yeah, fair enough.
Okay, but it looks good, like look at this.
It's happy. It's happy with us.
I'm happy.
I guess we can update autofac as well then.
Okay, so this was successful.
Yeah.
We set here 8.016.
And that's still the latest version. Sherlock, I'm gonna go.
So system text I did, just that you know. And this is 8.0. Ooh, 8.05. Okay. I hate those Microsoft standard updates. You cannot tell me there's an update, or by the love of God, please not.
No, but I don't want us to spend any time updating.
No, there isn't. Since 2022. There was. I assumed so because why should they have outdated packages or for target frameworks they don't support anymore? I would expect nothing else. I wouldn't do it for sure.
No. Well, I think they might. Okay, actually, there's a new version of AngleSharp. So let's go to that.
So just that you know, I'm going .NET 9 and downstairs, so to speak.
Yeah. I'm just, you can see where I'm at. I'm up at the top.
Oh yeah, I can see it even here, a little
Yeah.
violet marker. I like that.
Mhm. Let's see.
Uh-huh.
There's also a new beta version. Okay.
Uh,
Nerdbank Git versioning. Let's see.
no, not preview. I won't have
Yeah.
preview.
We don't want to have preview packages if we can avoid it, I think.
Yeah, that would be only for .NET 10.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
God, I'm that is the I'm not looking forward to merge that into how you call it in V2 because we have to do this again. And probably we should, by the way, make a point release with this if we update the packages.
oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh boy.
So should I do the system text JSON thing?
That's done. Yeah, you have to add it to .NET 9, but I updated it. Does it work that way? So wait, just if you see my screen. So I update
Yeah.
exactly that what you marked. I updated.
Yeah.
So I have no idea how this really works. If now you have an item group and you kind of override it, does it work? Or you have to take this line of code, 31, into every item group now, except .NET 9.
So this
I
is
feel
no,
like.
we want to have it in 9 and 10 as well, and then we can just have it globally for the other ones. Like 3, 5, 6, 7, and 8 can just share that one, I believe. I believe if you add it further down the file, that will win for those versions. That would be my assumption. Right.
We will see it at the end. That is
Okay.
the
I
easy
I
part.
I will go with my assumption and add them down to 9. So that needs to be, what is that? That's okay. It's 9.5 here, and then there's a preview for 10. Where do we have the 10 versions?
Really? A lot of
Oh,
packages that
you haven't pulled since you merged version 10
No,
support.
no. Wait. We are on V1. I did not do those changes on V1. I only did this on V2.
Okay, so version 10 of okay, so we don't have any support for .NET 10 on V1 branch.
Yes.
I mean, okay,
Yes.
good.
That was at least what I wanted to do.
Yeah, no,
Like
that
that was
makes
my
sense.
original assumption because it's just a lot of time.
Actually, yeah, no, I agree. That's fine. It's fine to do that. So I would assume for
902. Okay, shortly is 430. I'm almost done with the test dependencies. Yay! Yeah, I mean, at the end we have to make a new branch because we have to check whether or not the how you call it, the docs are running, the tests inside the docs and whatnot.
Yep.
So wasn't there something with XUnit and XUnit combinatorial? Ooh. 20. Yeah, you cannot take version 2. Wasn't there something with XUnit? So because we are still using XUnit version 2, not version 3, you cannot update this guy here.
I think everybody who supports XUnit will have a custom package called XUnit v3, then combinatorial. So I think that should, but we just go and check with NuGet what dependency it has.
Let me check dependencies. XUnit v3, so I cannot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Answered.
No,
Good
but
that I have it open.
there's a major version, but what dependencies? It has v3. Okay, so they didn't follow that pattern. Yeah, so the usual pattern you see also from Verify and other packages is that they explicitly push out a new package that has so in this particular case, they should have probably released a package called XUnit v3 combinatorial because they're not compatible with each other.
Yup. Should.
Yeah.
Should.
Should. All right. Let's see. Yeah. No. So yeah, you probably already heard us say that, Peter. But the reason why we have it is just to have it a sample example showing how to use a custom container library, custom dependency injection framework, if you want to use that with bUnit as well. So it's just in our sample code. We don't use it in our production code.
That's why we have the abstraction.
Yeah. Actually, the thing is, when you upgrade source generator, those things, that means that you may not be targeting, you're not able to target lower SDKs. So we might not want to upgrade those.
No, you're not able to. I thought you're not able to target lower IDEs. Not. I thought it's directly dependent that you now need a VS 17.14. I thought this is how it works.
Yeah, so I don't think we should
But,
upgrade
it's
those.
fine.
Yeah.
It's not like we need those features.
No, but yeah, just you have to be for my strongly typed package I created, I explicitly use lower or not the latest versions of those because it's it's I want to make sure that it works in most people's IDEs and other things. I think for the most part, all the .NET, so I'm fine just leaving those be that version they are, because users can always choose later versions, and they will implicitly do that if they're targeting .NET 8 and just have a newer versions. So we don't explicitly need to upgrade those because we can still work with the newer versions, I think. It's just
you mean
for
if
the...
Yeah, well, yes and no, because in their test, the direct depend. That's a question. Which
No, I think
dependency
so.
wins?
So if they, in the test project, they reference a production code project like Blazor project, if that Blazor project is using .NET 8 and then have, it'll just pull down the latest versions. It will allow us to move, because we're not locking that version. We're not saying it has to be this version or less. It can be that version
Okay.
or higher. So that should be fine. But it's fine to just upgrade them. The problem is, I think it might complain if they're using a lower version. But then again, they probably should just be fine upgrading the patch versions anyway.
Yeah.
I would be comfortable.
Okay, so shall we give it a .NET build again?
.NET test and see. Yeah, exactly. Oh,
package version. It doesn't work that way.
Okay. Yeah. So we explicitly have to.
Yeah, we have to move it inside.
Yeah, in all of them. That's fine. We can do that.
Are you doing this right now?
I can do it. Yeah. So I'm just gonna put that in here. And 6, 7, and I think we have it for 8 too, and then we have it for 9, and that's it. Yeah. Wait, try now. I think I saved.
No. I have to do it apparently.
No,
I see it's changed, but you. Oh God. Boy.
Maybe.
Was me. Let's revert that. That was me. There was this whole mess here, down here.
Over eager with the versionings. Yeah.
Yeah. Can I? Yeah, here, come on, go back. And also here, take that bit and revert this. Yeah, because they're peer dependencies like this stuff probably that doesn't work. I should have updated either everything or nothing.
Mm.
Come on. What's your problem? System text JSON again. Are we missing this in some of them? We have to edit everywhere. Oh, sorry. Ooh, it's not everywhere.
I think it is.
No, it's not in the 7 and it's not in the 8. 8 is missing. Wait, yeah.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was not there.
Okay, I
And
thought
in 9,
it's there.
it's there.
Yeah.
Okay.
What
Okay.
version then?
Ah, come on. That's not true. What's this one here? X unit runner was restored. What? So what I did is, just to see from 301 to 310. And that is a problem? Ah, for .NET 6, it has a higher dependency. Or you know what? It's just for our tests and it's fine.
Yeah. Oh, you upgraded the runner. Yeah, that will throw up a complaint.
And the same is with the SDK.
Hmm.
And obviously, they don't support the old versions anymore. So let me just clear that. So the 17.14. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is a pity, but I also understand Microsoft's reasoning behind that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks better. At least,
Yeah.
it does something.
Yeah, you can see also here, like my point before on line 110, you can see it refers to Autofix XUnit 2. So they actually changed the name of the package to be XUnit 2, and then that's going to be an XUnit 3 package as well.
Yeah. Okay. But if that works, what I would do, let that run in the background. I would open a new branch. Let's call that upgrade on upgrades. I don't know.
Yeah.
Then we just say this. Then we have like, upgrade.
All the things.
Then yeah. And then, let our build pipeline do it in the background. I mean, obviously I call it right now, but it can already start there. And then we can make a pull request and we can merge it and then make a new point release later. And then, the beautiful thing of updating it to the V2 branch. Cool. I think we did something today, like we
Indeed.
catched up, we make a new release. That's always cool after a stream.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Is that?
I'm not sure if this is exceptions we intentionally have. That might be because we lock everything.
What did you?
No. I cannot execute all of them. So we have to. So I'm on a MacBook ARM64.
Yeah, I see.
So some of them I cannot just execute. That's just the harsh reality of my.
Yeah, create a PR and let the pipeline do it for us.
Exactly. So I will do this in the background. Meanwhile, just that you don't see this because I don't share that window. Compare pull requests. I will have it to main streamy things. And we can also add Copilot as a reviewer. Why not? Okay, it's open.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. Cool. Let's make ourselves big. Boop, boop.
Oh,
no, that was too big.
Maybe slightly too big. Yeah. There you go.
Boop, boop. Oh no! Wait! You do it. You do it.
Oh, it's just the third button in the row. All right. Well,
many buttons.
Thanks everybody for hanging out. It's
was nice catching up after quite some time. Cool to see, like folks still tuning in, even though we didn't announce much, prior to that. Yeah. Always very, very nice. Thank you, guys.
And we will hopefully be back next Friday. I think there's a fairly good chance. I don't have anything.
For me, there is.
My schedule.
For me, there is.
Oh, you can't do it next Friday?
No, I can. Sorry. I wanted to say, like I say, I have time next week.
Oh, great. Yeah, it looks like I have time as well. So let's aim for that. And until then, have an excellent weekend. And thanks for coding with us. Bye-bye, everybody.
See you soon. Bye.